We got this from the New York Post. And I could have chosen, actually, you know what? Let me read this one. Kamala Harris taps ex-SNL star for head-scratching Al Smith dinner skit that left audience puzzled and silent. I like this one from the Daily Mail. Kamala Harris is torched for cringe-worthy and historically bad pre-recorded Al Smith dinner video. Because I think you all listening deserve this, I'm playing it for you now.
Oh, no, not again. Please.
And distinguished guests, the Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship.
Cool. Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Gallagher. Mary Catherine Gallagher. It's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now, I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I simmer them like that. But that's gross.
So tell me something. I'm giving a speech. Do you have some thoughts about what I might say tonight?
My feelings about what you should say tonight would be best expressed in a monologue from one of my favorite made-for-TV series.
Okay, let's hear it.
Don't you see, man? We need a woman to represent us. A woman brings more heart, more compassion. And think how smart she must be to become a top contender in a field dominated by men. It's time for a woman, bro. And with this woman, we can fly.
What series was that from?
Oh, that's from House of Dragons, now streaming on HBO Max.
Is there anything that you think that maybe I shouldn't bring up tonight?
Lord help me.
Well, don't lie. Thou shalt not bear false witness to thy neighbor.
Indeed, especially
Oh, wow, she's
thy
in trouble.
neighbor's election results.
Just so you know, there will be a fact checker there tonight.
Oh, that's great. Who?
Jesus. And maybe don't say anything negative about Catholics.
I would never do that, no matter where I was. That would be like criticizing Detroit in Detroit.
Does it bother you that that Trump guy insults you all the time? Because it really bothers my friends and me.
Oh, Mary Catherine, it's very important to always remember.
Can I just turn it off?
Never let anyone
why is there
tell you
more?
who you are.
Why are you making us do this, Tim? Why?
Why is there more?
I just want to point out the quote that she chose implies that men are smarter. Because imagine how smart she must be to succeed in a field dominated by men. It's like,
What's wrong with that?
why would that be more difficult for a woman?
So what was wrong with what she said?
She implied that men are smarter. Yeah.
So she was correct.
I'm just saying
is
it's
picking up on
interesting
that
she made that
sexism.
implication. It's interesting that she said that.
Seamus, are you saying men are made in the image and likeness of God, therefore perhaps women who were made after? Are you getting at?
Eve came from Adam's side.
St. Thomas Aquinas had that, right?
That St. Thomas Aquinas.
See?
yes.
I've been to
There you
mass.
go.
I've been to
Okay.
mass 9 times.
For you.
9
Wait,
times.
wait, are you
He's
saying that he had
Aquinas,
like
he's getting Aquinas pilled over here?
Well,
that
yeah.
St. Thomas Aquinas had like a logical formula for why men are smarter than women?
No,
wouldn't
no.
say
Aquinas
that.
is referring to the book of Genesis. He's referring to the Bible.
Oh, so he's like straight up the Bible says men are smarter than women?
No, it's not that men are
That's-
smarter.
that's
It's that men are
offensive.
supposed to be
Not
leaders.
smarter, but yeah, that
men aren't
men are
smart.
meant to be
Men
leaders,
and
yeah.
women are equal in the sense that we are made in God's image and likeness and have dignity and value, but men are meant to lead.
Can I just
Unless you're Joe Biden.
Yeah. Well, not all men
Not
rise.
all
to the
men.
occasion.
yeah, yeah.
Not all men.
One at a time.
Yeah. This, for anyone wondering, by the way, if you're young enough to have not seen SNL in the 90s, this should answer your question that it was not funny back then either.
yeah, right.
Yeah, this was not funny even in the heyday. I like this era of SNL.
I'll
These
even
characters are not good.
so I'll even say that I watched SNL like pretty regularly throughout the 90s. I loved like the Chris Farley era going into like the Chris Kattan, Will Ferrell era. This very much was Will Ferrell era. SNL were kind of a forgettable, sketch. Like I remember the sketch, like seeing the character. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that sketch. And she used to smell her fingers. And there was actually a movie. I think they did a movie of Mary
so, too.
Catherine.
They do a film out of that?
Superstar. Yeah, they
Was
did.
it Jimmy Fallon, the other character, or was it Chris Kattan?
I
Probably
couldn't
Chris Kattan.
Honestly, couldn't even tell. I
Fallon
know
was later.
Farrell was in it.
Yeah.
As like the boyfriend character, and that's pretty much the only
You
thing I
think her
remember about
writers,
the movie.
Kamala's writers were like, we need a Catholic character.
But no, so what's going on here is that, and I'll just say this: the theater kids need to be stopped.
100%.
We have a theater kid occupied government.
I think
Yeah,
John
Decog.
Boyle did a
This-
video on that where he was like
This
talking.
is it's like that's literally what's going on, is that Kamala Harris's entire campaign is being run by theater kids.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone other than theater kids who remembers this character character or remember. It's like Molly Shannon. Like, by the way, Molly Shannon is older than Kamala Harris. She's actually, yeah, she is. No, true. It's look it up. So Kamala Harris is 59. Molly Shannon is 60. Fact check me. That she's actually older than Kamala Harris. It's like you couldn't find something just.
Oh yeah, she's 60.
There you
They
go.
should have pulled out It's Pat for the trans movement.
A little bit. Oh no, you can't do that. No, and that was Julia Sweeney, by the way. Right. Boom, boom. Keep them coming. I'm telling you, I like that era of SNL. That it just goes to show you that like Nick Offerman had like a song this week. Like there, it's like I'm kid you not. He had a song. He has a song that he put out. So from Parks and Rec,
right.
which is even slightly a little bit newer than this SNL character. But again, just they're trying so hard to find ways to appeal to millennials, and it's just so cringe.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It shows.
It feels like Gen Xers though, because I was a little kid when she was doing this weird armpit sniffing stuff.
Yeah,
I remember it.
Yeah,
like I remember it.
It wasn't funny,
and it was like I the character was funny.
If Beavis and Butt had endorsed Kamala Harris, I might consider voting for her.
Yeah, but Mike Judge would never do that.
I know.
we're on SNL recently, and those were good sketches.
Because Mike Judge is based.
Yeah, he is.
Like Mike Judge is like friends with Alex Jones. Like he used to go on InfoWars back in the day. He's like lives in Austin, I think, now. And yeah, like no, Mike Judge is great. He would never keep in mind that Mike Judge also made Idiocracy, which completely predicted everything that we are living in now, like almost 20 years exactly to it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. One thing about this sketch too.
I met my wife there.
They're not the most biting, horrible anti-Catholic jokes you've ever heard, but just the safe, edgy, making fun of Catholics thing. It's so old. It's so over. I'm not even just saying that as a Catholic. I think everyone watches that and they're like, oh, that was so brave.
The Gretchen Whitmer Doritos thing.
That was so weird.
Well, and
was
Trump
disgusting.
And Trump turned that into a joke. He said, "Where's Kamala Harris tonight? I guess she's not here. Maybe she's in Michigan getting communion with Gretchen Whitmer."
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said that.
Oh my gosh, I missed that one.
Yeah, so Trump actually makes a much better, more nuanced Catholic joke than Kamala Harris ever could. And actually, Seamus, I'll throw this out there since I didn't really plan to talk about this, but here we are. So when that character came out, so in the 90s, the church was much more powerful of a force in society than it is now. And so she's playing this ubiquitous Catholic schoolgirl type character, which was a stereotype in the 90s. But Catholic schools don't exist anymore the way they used to.
It's true.
They're all getting consolidated. They are getting smashed. They are getting my own Catholic high school. So Tim, like, I used to talk about, come on here and talk about my hometown. And I'm getting like fact checked about this because I talked about it on the Tucker tour. And so I got this journalist, fake, journalist, whatever, was like, "Oh, is it true that your hospital was demolished and now there's a Planned Parenthood?" Like, yes. Wow. And so my Catholic high school was actually in the process of being torn down as I was with Tucker on the tour. Wow. And I've gone back and I did a video of it right there. Like, there, you can see there's a whole of it. So basically, when it was funny back in the day because the church just had a more ubiquitous role in society today. Whereas now, where like Catholics really are feeling like they're persecuted, which, by the way, persecuted by people like Kamala Harris, who said, if you're a member of the Knights of Columbus, which is like the most vanilla, these are like the church and the guys who bring you to your pew, like, hey, there's 2 seats over here, there's 4 seats over there. They do coffee and donuts after services.
No, they're radical Catholics, Jack.
And she was calling them radicals and saying that you were like, she was likening them to the KKK, which, if you know anything about the history.
Which doesn't like Catholics, by the way.
Which, if you know anything about the history, actually, the Knights of Columbus were, They were actually instituted to protect Catholics from the KKK. But whatever, Dems are real racist. And it was. So because, and then traditional Catholics like Latin Mass Catholics or Trad Caths are actually being persecuted by the likes of Kamala Harris and her administration right now. That's why it comes across as mean-spirited, even though and I'll just be fair, like, I don't think that Molly Shannon was like being necessarily anti-Catholic. Like she was being very cringe.
She probably didn't even think about it, but that's my point. That's why it's safe edgy. It's just
yeah.
totally anodyne. Jokes about the Catholic Church are bland.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that the power differential is totally changed from where it was in the 90s to where it is now.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.